and welcome to the Orthodontic Products Podcast. I'm your host, Alison Werner. On today's episode, we are tackling a seasonal challenge that almost every orthodontic practice faces as the temperature rises, the summer rush of urgent patient calls. From loose brackets and wire pokes to lost retainers and aligners left behind on family vacations, these disruptions can easily derail your daily schedule and overwhelm your clinical team. But what if the key to managing this seasonal spike starts with a simple shift in mindset? Joining me today is practice management consultant Andrea Cook. She argues that most of these emergencies aren't actually emergencies at all. They are simply problems that require solutions. We're going to discuss how to eliminate the word emergency from your practice's vocabulary, how to empower your front desk team with the right triage verbiage, and the proactive clinical and educational steps you can take right now to protect your schedule and keep your sanity. Here's our conversation. Andrea, it's so great to have you back with me.
Oh, it's great to be here. It's been a while.
Yeah,
We've
definitely.
all been busy, but
I
love being
know.
back.
Exactly. Well, I'm really looking forward to this because we're going to talk about a summer topic. It is the summer. So we're going to talk about summer emergencies. So talk to me about, when you're working with clients, what types of orthodontic emergencies tend to increase during the summer months? And what factors do you think are driving those trends?
Probably my two biggest that increase are bond failures
Mm.
and lost items. I lost
Mm.
my retainer. I lost my
Oh,
aligners, things like that. I
yeah.
went camping and in
Oh,
the
yeah.
bear ate it. I don't know.
Yeah.
So those probably are my biggest two emergencies.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to preface this whole podcast with a lot of these aren't emergencies. They're problems that we have in the office.
Mm-hmm.
And if we treat them as emergencies, then that's when we'll talk about it in a little bit. But that's when they have such a huge impact on our office that we have all these emergencies. We don't. We have
Mm.
problems in the office that we need to deal with. And how we deal with them will dictate the impact on our day. So we need to manage them instead of them managing us. So, but
Okay.
those are probably the two biggest
Okay.
areas that I see over the summer.
Okay. And like you said, those aren't necessarily an emergency. I mean,
In the orthodontic
fun.
world,
Yeah.
truly an emergency is I have a Herbst appliance that
Mm-hmm.
half of it's out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it's something like that. But if it's
Yeah.
a wire poke or a loose
Right.
bracket, we can triage it and we can
Yeah.
manage it from afar where it doesn't have to be. I have to be seen today and it has to be after 4 o'clock and
Mm.
those things.
Yeah.
So those are the really only true. And if they get, if they have an accident, they get hit in the mouth or something, that really
Yeah.
isn't us as well. It's probably a general dentist
Mm.
that they should be calling. So
Yeah.
we generally don't really have emergencies, but we have to
Mhm.
get that thought out of our head that
Okay.
these are
Okay.
emergencies.
Yeah. Okay. So then, as beyond changing that mindset, what are some of the preventative steps practices could be taking to reduce the likelihood of those emergency appointments?
Um, a lot of it is training on the team. First thing I'm going to do is slow down on my bonding protocol, do a
Mhm.
review of it to make sure that I have all the supplies that I need, I have all the education I need
Mhm.
to do the bonding, and I have the time. So there's not missed steps
Mm.
that I was rushed or we switched clinicians during a procedure and something
Mhm.
got missed. So I want to make sure those pieces are in place in the office
Mhm.
and then educate our patients on what to do if you have a problem, not an emergency. If
Mhm.
you have a problem, here's what you do. If you can't resolve it,
Yeah.
give us a call and we'll set up a time for you to see us in the next, few days,
Yeah.
whatever. But yeah,
Yeah. So it sounds like, there's an aspect of this as clinical protocols, but then it's also patient behavior and then maybe some of the office systems that need to be addressed.
all three to make it through the summer with any sanity at all, it really requires all three of those,
Yeah.
you know. And before summer, I like to have a review of, what's our bonding protocol,
Hmm.
all the things just to make sure we're all not skipping steps
Hmm.
and doing things the way our office is supposed to be doing them, following the
Yeah.
protocol.
Yeah.
So if you haven't started summer yet, I would I would make that a priority to do that step back and say, making sure everybody's on the same page.
Hmm. Yeah. And then, I like what you said, like, a lot of this, they aren't emergencies, they're problems. It kind of sounds like it's almost kind of reframing how you, not only within the practice, but also the patient responds to a problem.
Mhm. And for any orthodontic office, I encourage all of my offices to never have the word emergency in their office.
Mm,
It's not on my phone recording, if you've reached us after hours, if you have a medical or a dental orthodontic emergency, please call. We don't.
mm,
And the TC doesn't tell them during the initial exam. If you have an emergency, you can call us, you can reach us after hours.
mhm,
None of that. If you
mhm,
have a problem, repair, we can fix that. Just give us a call on the next
yeah,
business day or,
mhm,
during patient hours,
mhm,
and we can get you set up for a visit.
yeah,
So if we start with that, not in our minds and not in our patients' minds,
mhm,
then it eases them that in their head, if they have a loose bracket, it's an emergency. I need to be
right,
seen,
right,
and it's really not. But
mhm,
we have to let them know that it's not.
right,
Otherwise, they're going to call and
yeah.
say they have an emergency.
Right, right, exactly. What are some of the tools that, you see as effective for kind of triaging these problems, and, how can they have a positive, can they have an impact on, saving chair time or staff workload? What are some of those tools?
Yeah. Patient education is a big one because in
Okay.
our world, we know all of these things and it's not an
Mhm.
emergency. But if you have a new patient or a newly bonded patient who just started and something looks different or feels different,
Mhm. Mhm.
that's that could be very unsettling for them and they may
Yeah.
get anxious. And
Mhm.
I need to be seen and you find out it's, one of the otis is off.
Right.
It's not, but it's that patient education and it can't just be one time.
Mm.
They hear a percentage of the information that we give
Yeah.
them, both in the TC room and at the chair. So we have to be reiterating that at every opportunity we can. So, Johnny, you're in today. What are your plans for the summer? Oh, we're taking a 3-week trip to Italy. That's an opportunity for me to say, do you have enough wax? Do you know
Mm.
what to do if this happens? If you get a wire poke, do you know how to resolve that?
Okay.
Walk through it with them to make
Sure.
sure. So when you hear those things, pick up on it and just don't say, "Hey, have a great trip." But
Ah.
make sure they're setting up for I've done everything I can to make it as easy for you as possible
Mhm.
to resolve it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or I can come to Italy and fix it for you. There you go.
I'm willing to jump on the first plane.
Sounds like a true emergency. I best come.
What about, where do you see the role of like virtual care or remote monitoring tools in this workflow?
Um, they're very helpful and they're very challenging
Okay.
for my offices.
Mhm.
If they are used properly, remote monitoring can solve a lot of these problems because I can really see what's going on.
Okay.
The challenge that we're having in offices is having a team member there and available and has the time to
Mm.
monitor what's coming in.
Okay.
I'm running 2 assistants short. Sally's called in sick, and I'm trying to train somebody.
Right.
So true patient care in the office has to come first, and those things tend to get pushed off
Yeah.
and I don't have the bandwidth or the time for it, so they don't get done.
Mhm.
If you don't go down that path, if you're not on any of the remote monitorings, you can use your phone to help triage too.
Mm.
You know, Mom, can you take a picture of what you're seeing in Johnny's mouth so that I can look at it?
Yeah.
So you can use that as a tool.
Mhm.
And if you're not on the remote monitoring path,
Okay.
but it really helps triage those. It's
Mm.
just the management gets to be a
Right.
bit tricky for us.
Yeah, especially if it's late at night or over, on the weekend.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
But I think they're great tools for
Yeah.
offices that embrace it and really use it.
Mhm.
And a lot of them use it for more aligner therapy.
Okay.
But with brackets,
Mhm.
there's a vast amount of information that's in there that can help us
Mm.
and triage
Okay.
that.
Okay. Okay. How do you recommend that practices accommodate these problems without disrupting the rest of the schedule?
My first line of defense is we have to have whoever's answering your phone, I don't care who
Mhm.
it is, trained on how to triage. What is an emergency?
Mm.
What has to be seen? Talking them off the ledge of saying, no, she's got a bracket off. We need to be seen.
Mhm.
And helping them walk that patient through, because when they call in and I have a loose bracket or something's lost my retainer, I
Mhm.
need to get in today by 4 o'clock. And we
Mhm.
have to have the verbiage in place to let them know it's not, it starts with the TC, letting them
Mhm.
know. It starts with the clinician who's doing the bonding or delivering
Yeah.
aligners or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then it goes to whoever's answering the phone and being able to talk them down and fit them into our schedule.
Mhm.
Their their lost retainer is not 2 days is not going to make a difference to come
Yeah.
in for a new scan. It's
Yeah.
not an emergency. If I just got my braces on and I have a bracket come off, within a few days, I work harder to try and get them in because
Okay.
the PR that goes along with it.
Okay.
But if it's, I'm 6 months into treatment and I have a loose bracket,
Mhm.
give the front the verbiage to say, you know, is it causing him any pain? Well, it's just a little bit sore. Put some wax on it. It's not
Mhm.
going to change your treatment time. It's not going to affect anything. We can get you in next Tuesday.
Okay.
It's but it's that verbiage that talks
Yeah.
them off it's not an emergency.
Mm. Yeah. What do you wish that practices and staff really thought about around managing these disruptions or those potential disruptions, these problems?
Um, they most of my a lot of my offices are still in that emergency mindset, and I
Okay.
really wish they would get back to we have a lot of not a lot. We have problems in our office. We have
Mm.
solutions
Yeah.
and not get wrapped up in the letting the patients dictate. Well, the bracket's loose. I have to be seen
Right.
today,
Yeah.
and managing them in a kind, educational way,
Mhm.
but not letting them manage our schedule for us and say,
Mhm.
"Nope, I have to come in today by 4 o'clock."
Right.
And when Johnny's lost his retainer, he just told mom about it, but it's really been lost for 3 months. You
Mm.
know that, so or my aligners or whatever it
Uh-huh.
is.
Right,
So
exactly. So that extra week or 3 days to get a
it is, yeah.
Yeah.
It's really not gonna matter, but
Yeah.
so I would like them to take a step back before summer and really manage their verbiage, their bonding protocol, um, our supplies that we have enough what we're doing with the patients as far
Uh,
as giving them what they need.
okay.
Just do a step back before summer or
Yeah.
now if they're already in summer
Yeah.
and give everybody what they need. And then making sure my clinicians have the time to do the appointments
Mhm.
and they're not either running 2 chairs to where they're forgetting things. I'm
Mm.
in a hurry, so I forgot to clip those distal ends.
Yeah.
I thought so and so did it. Giving them the time and the tools to do what they need,
Mm.
it makes a big difference. And I know we're stretched. We're all
Yeah.
just stretched right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But without that, that's where a lot of things get dropped.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting because when, I came into this topic, we had talked about summer emergencies, but really it sounds like we need to reframe, get rid of that word. It's
It's
just,
not in my office.
it's a
Any of
problem.
my
I
offices.
have a problem. I
And I
have a
have a solution
problem.
for you.
Yeah.
Use your wax. We can see you next Tuesday.
Mhm.
I've
Yeah.
I've resolved it. I've made you comfortable. I've
Right.
given you what you need, and I've educated you. So
Yeah.
it's not that I'm pushing them off and saying, "No, you
Right.
can't."
Mhm.
But and like I said, put them in your schedule.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Stop
that
being so reactive.
when we accommodate one,
Mhm.
so I'm gonna let you come in. We're packed this afternoon, but I'm gonna let you come in with that loose bracket at 4 o'clock. That patient you accommodated has displaced probably 10 appointments around it
Mm.
and either made them run late or run over their appointment time because we're accommodating one.
Mhm.
So really think about the impact that one person or that one patient makes on the rest of the schedule and your team.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so if you could give an orthodontic practice one recommendation for reducing quote unquote emergency visits this summer, don't want to use the word, what would it be? We got to call them problems. They're
Yeah.
problems. They're not emergencies.
Take that pause. Don't wait till the end of summer to do it. Take it
Mhm.
now. Even if you're already in summer, take that pause and say, um, what do we do in these situations? Making sure the team has what they need, the verbiage that they need. And when they get frazzled, the front desk, I know it's late in the afternoon, they're busy and somebody calls in. And so they just put them somewhere to get them off the phone. Make sure they have the verbiage and the tools. So take that pause in the practice and really give everybody what they need. Take a breath and say, what do you need? And take a look at your schedule. And if they're overriding the schedule to get a lost retainer in or a lost aligner in, we really need to educate. That's not what we need to do in the office. We need to get them scheduled in an appropriate slot.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just sets the team up for failure because they're running behind.
Right.
But like I said, displacing those patients. And I wanted to mention too one thing.
Yeah.
When we if you can do it during the summer, it's great to track what's going on, track what your emergencies are, what your comfort visits or whatever they are. But for offices that are having bond failures, I track patients that call in with a loose bracket. We track those. But we also track patients that come in with something loose. So you need to have a code in your management system that can track those too, because sometimes I'll have an office that has 40 loose brackets in a month. And then when we look at those patients that are just showing up with loose brackets, we've got another 40. So we have a bonding problem.
Oh, you're
So if they just,
underreporting.
it's not reported, it's not recorded. So I run the report that says, how many loose brackets did I have last month? It's tracking those that called in and get coded that way. But having a code that we can track them, and that's where we get more accurate data and we can really see what our problem is. So I can apply the correct solution. Otherwise, I'm seeing half of the problem or maybe it's all of them, but just make sure we track it that way.
Yeah. And to follow up on that, would you say that bonding failures are kind of the summer problems, emergencies, are bonding failures kind of the one most common one that relates to a system within the practice? Like a lost retainer, a broken aligner, that's on the patient at home. Is it mainly the bond failures that are the ones that you're actually going to be able to track and maybe create some kind of corrective to at least keep those to a minimum?
Yeah. And when I track emergencies, so I track people that call in, I track patients that show up with something loose or broken. This goes for brackets and attachments, anything I have bonded. Once I have that information, then I start looking at what happened within that. So I give the office about a month after a bond to take responsibility. If a patient is 3 months into treatment and they're having loose brackets, that's probably a different problem. That's a patient education problem. What are you eating? Are you chewing on your water bottle or your mouth guard? Are you doing things that are causing that? So we have to look at what the problem is and when it is, and then we can determine we have a clinical bonding problem because we're having the majority of them are coming off within 2 weeks of a bond. Or are they 3-4 months into treatment? We probably have a different problem and we probably need a different solution for that.
Yeah. And so it's having that patient education ready to go depending on, or clinical workflow change to address.
Yeah. But we have to figure out what it is before we can slap a Band-Aid on it and say, this is what our problem is. We have loose brackets and start talking to your clinical team about, you guys have to get your bonding protocol under control. It may not be that. It may be more patient-based. So.
But there's a solution to your problem.
Yes.
Solution to your emergency.
And it goes anywhere from how products are used to what's your curing light, what's your isolation. There's a whole, rabbit hole I go down when I'm working with an office trying to reduce theirs if it's truly bond failures. So, but it has to be done.
Well, at the end of the day, stop making emergencies. Stop making your problems emergencies.
We're going to have problems, but make those problems fit into your world.
Exactly. And problems can be solved more easily than an emergency.
Yes.
All right. Andrea, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it.
Alison, thank you. And I hope everybody has a wonderful, problem-free summer.
There you go. Problem-free summers for everybody. All right. Take care.
Thanks.
As always, thank you for joining us. Be sure to subscribe to the Orthodontic Products Podcast to keep up with the latest episodes, and be sure to check out orthodonticproductsonline.com to keep up with the latest industry news. Until next time, take care.